back in the late 90s or the early 2000s, you were living in the prime time of cartoons. Not only was Cartoon Network introducing us to anime like Dragon Ball Z, they were simultaneously bringing us awesome shows like the Powerpuff Girls. And if you were a starry-eyed young girl like me, you probably had daydreams about what would happen if they blended both shows together. Well, it turns out they did, with Powerpuff Girls Z.
I'm Jocelyn the Intern. I do all the research nobody else wants to, straight from the desk of Death Battle.
Yep, somewhere around 2007, when a lot of us tapered off cartoons in favor of anime or teenage angst and porn, Cartoon Network shipped off our precious Powerpuff Girls to none other than Toei Animation, the very same people that made pretty much everything Dragon Ball. It was there in the land of the rising sun that our beloved girls became the Powerpuff Girls Z. Yeah, you heard me. They added a Z on the end of that shit, so you know it's gonna be mad Japanese! It's not just the very obvious change in animation style that makes Powerpuff Girls Z an anime. Oh no! They started injecting it with Japanese tropes right out of the gate. For starters, they took the original storyline and made it needlessly complex. In case you need a refresher, the OG Powerpuff Girls origin was pretty straightforward. You take some sugar, some spice, a little bit of everything nice, and you accidentally mix in some highly volatile chemical X. And bam! Supergirls. Cool. However, in the Z version of the show, the professor and his new son and robot dog, which we never needed, accidentally knock some baked goods into Chemical X, which in turn makes Chemical Z. Why they skipped Y is never explained. Anyhow, upon making Chemical Z, the professor and company notice that the entire planet's environment is going buck wild! Yeah, like legit, there's a goddamn iceberg outside their window. Within seconds, the professor's stupid kid shoots the untested Chemical Z at this iceberg that I can only assume is a symbol for global warming?
Like, why the hell would you assume that the chemical you just created would be the solution to the first problem you see? Oh, also, one other small thing. Why do you just so happen to have a freaking chemical shooting cannon pointed at the city? That's not suspicious at all, no.
But let's just forget about all that, because Chemical Z, of course, fixes all the crazy weather around the world because anime. But there's a catch. You see, out of global warming's corpse shoots a bunch of light rays. Some light, some dark. These Z-rays, as they're dubbed, fly across the city and strike 3 young girls, who seem completely unfazed by the fact that in one afternoon their town went from normal to chill penguin stage back to effing normal. I don't know about you, but I think I'd probably be just slightly unsettled. If you couldn't guess, these light rays turn the 3 girls into the Powerpuff Girls, complete with very, very uncomfortable transformation sequences. You know, considering these girls are 13. Oh, and just to make sure this dead horse is just really well beaten, another Z-ray hits the professor's robot dog, which gives him the ability to talk, because, yay, why the hell not at this point? Now, if you couldn't guess, the dark Z-rays ended up creating all the villains, like Mojo Jojo, who for some reason farts every time he mentions how stinky humans are. Good. We also have the Gangrene Gang, which is pretty much just a slightly more evil white trash family, but green, so green trash, I guess. But if you're familiar with Powerpuff Girls, you're probably wondering about the PPZ take on the ultimate baddie, him. Well, in this version, he's a straight-up demon from ancient Japan whose sole purpose is to bring chaos. Actually, it turns out him was sealed away in what looks like the 18th century by an old-timey kimono-wearing group of girls named the Good Enough Girls, which I personally feel is a really bad name for their self-esteem. Turns out him was unsealed when a certain super stupid child shot an iceberg with an unstudied chemical. See? Consequences. Despite all these changes, though, the show is well, kinda the same. The same girls fight the same bad guys, overcome similar obstacles, and have the same relationships.
Honestly, if you're a fan of the original show, like me, Buttercup for life, you can hop right into the middle of Z and not even miss a beat.
Hell, even the mayor's assistant, Miss Bellum, covers her face in every scene.
So there you have it, Powerpuff Girls Z, the show we didn't even know we didn't need. Or want.
Fun fact, despite only running for 1 year, Powerpuff Girls Z got a video game for DS called Game Dead Dimashita Powerpuff Girls Z. But instead of what you'd expect, like maybe a beat 'em up, it's a Mario Party knockoff full of mini-games like, what animal makes this sound? Yeah, it's not good.